10 things I'm grateful for, day 2. I'm grateful that I am outspoken about my values. My values are important to me. Saying the truth is important to me. Integrity is important to me. And if I see a conflict with that, I usually speak up respectfully and let people know what I'm thinking. Second, I'm grateful for having let go of some people that I love but weren't measuring up to my boundaries. So I learned about the principle of 2 truths. You can love and hate somebody at the same time. And there's been people in my life that I had so much fun hanging out with, spending time with, but as I have evolved within myself, our relationship started to be shaky, and I decided to give it a space, give it time, and let them go. Third thing I'm grateful for is I created boundaries around myself to keep me safe and help me enjoy life. One of the boundaries is I will not dumb down myself in order for someone else to impose their will against me. Boundaries are basically if somebody really values you in their life, they're gonna accommodate, they're gonna listen to you, and they're gonna make sure that they're respecting you in any way that you like them to. I like to be straightforward and honest with the people around me, and I expect the same from them. And if they're not, I let them know, and I let them know that is not well received with me. And if they cannot keep up with being honest around me, then that means that we won't get along in the future, so we might as well part ways. Fourth thing is I am becoming impartial with the men and women in my life and their bad behaviors. In the past, I've been more easy on the guys, on the men in my life, but then I realized that as everybody finds a way. If you give them a little room to if you let them out easily, they're gonna take advantage of that, and they're gonna do it more and more. And I decided that no, guys know what they're doing, and I should just be impartial with both of them, because even though guys, they say females are more emotionally intelligent, that doesn't come easily to us. Like as a baby, we don't, like as a kid, we're not emotionally intelligent right away. It takes some work, and it just happens that females put on more work to become emotionally mature. They always have a group of friends that they bounce back ideas with, and if a guy in my life doesn't have that group, doesn't know how to emotionally contain himself, then I don't want that, because It takes some work. It took me some work to get to this place, and why shouldn't I expect the same of the guy? Yeah, because I wasn't born this way. Not all females are emotionally mature, but if you're at least not at my level, whereas like we're communicating clearly, we're being intentional and clear about our emotions, our goals, and things like that. If you're not on the same boat, then I'm not gonna drag somebody along just because I feel bad for them. And throughout my life, growing up, I seen that the guys usually were let off easily. You know, I was usually more punished. I had to always be well behaved, and guys didn't get as much of a consequence if they misbehaved. So I'm realizing that of how I have taken that mindset to now my adult years, and I'm trying to fix that because I wanna, if I have kids, I wanna make sure that they're being raised with the same standards. Daughters and sons, they're both. I wanna make sure that I leave the standards. I set high standards for both of them, and make sure that I can model that behavior, and my partner can model that behavior as well. I'm grateful for singlehood. So in singlehood, I've been able to maintain my peace, find new hobbies, meet new people that will hopefully strengthen myself and build my life. People that are secure, people that are intentional, people that have a goal and they're developing, and just people who are high value, people that I find intriguing. In singlehood, I can build around what I like and what I want in my life, and nobody else gets to dictate that, and I'm grateful for it. I'm gonna enjoy this phase of my life as much as possible. Yeah, I think everything is there for a reason. So if I'm single right now, I think there's a lot of things that I can do, and there's a lot of impact that I can make. Yeah, with the people around me, with friends. I just try to work on bettering myself, not to impress anybody else, just to become a better person around everybody. Everybody I see, everybody that I come into contact with. Yeah, just in general, I wanna improve all aspects of my life, and in singlehood, I can put a lot of attention into it, attention and intention into it. I'm grateful that I'm getting better at controlling my anger and finding productive outlets for it, for intense emotions. Usually I don't get angry very fast, and if I do get angry, I bite my tongue and try not to react as much as possible. But I can tell right away when I'm angry. I can tell because I get a mind block right away, and I'm trying to find easier ways to deal with it, or better ways to deal with it, because my mind basically just shuts off right away when I'm angry, and I cannot think of any way of improving the situation. Not that I completely attack the environment in a negative way. I'm very slow at reacting, and sometimes there is no reaction from me and no response, and I'm just getting better at coming up with better ways, productive ways of expressing myself whenever there is intense emotions. I'm grateful for the people who have seen me evolve throughout my life and are still around supporting me. I have not always been patient and kind and easygoing. There's definitely times in my life that I've been very hard-headed and easily angered, and I'm glad that there's family members that saw me go through it, and that they still can see the better me now. That they always saw that there was a better person in me then, and that they still see it now. Of course, I'm still making improvements, but I have come a long way. I'm grateful for a second chance to build my life. So for me, being adopted, there is a life prior to being adopted, and then there is a different life after being adopted, with a complete new setting, new language, new country, new family, everything different. And I'm glad, because not everybody gets that chance. And sometimes I think that if I would have stayed in the same environment, like in the same country that I was living in, I would have still had a lot of flashbacks, a lot of traumatic things that wouldn't have allowed me to move forward. Whereas here in the US, I know that there is nothing close to me that can come and interrupt the flow of my life. No all the friends, no all the family members, none of them can come out of nowhere and like show up and trigger any emotional responses in me, because we're just so far away, and I don't have to worry about any of that. I'm grateful that I'm well educated. My aunt sought to instill good morals, values, and manners in me. She was a little tough, but she was always encouraging me to do things differently. We didn't come with my aunt back in South America. We didn't have much money, but my aunt always reinforced good values in me, even with manners. Everybody likes to do what they like, but my aunt was like, there is a certain way that she wanted me to behave in order for me to come out more polish around other people. And she made sure that I learned some of those tips and tricks that she knew that she was learning. I think she was learning it at work, so she was passing it down to me, and I'm grateful for it, because not everybody thinks that way, and not everybody is mindful of everybody else around them. And whenever you see that person who is very proper and very, very well behaved, then those people really do stand out. My school instructors in South America encourage creativity and conviction with my ideas. They always encourage us to raise our hand and talk and give our opinions. There wasn't a specific agenda that the teachers had within the classroom. Most of their teaching was open-ended, and they really provided questions, interesting questions that made us think and forced us to come up with different solutions, with different ways of solving the question. And whenever we came up with the answers, he would challenge us, and he would ask us to see the other side. So if we were coming up with a negative outcome to that problem, so we had so let's say they gave us a scenario, and it was, it was a negative scenario. So sometimes we would come with negative answers for it, or with just an answer for it, and then they would challenge us and tell us to see the opposite side, whatever was the opposite to what we had said. And they would encourage ideas like that. So and of course a lot of our classmates each of us had different ideas, and they would make sure to take the time to challenge each of us with their ideas and enforce a more inclusive environment. I guess it can be inclusive because he didn't make us come into a specific conclusion. They just forced us to come with different ideas and then see the opposite side to whatever we had said. Yeah, and I'm thankful that I got to explore different ideas, and I was able to basically own my own opinions, my own ideas, and express it in the classroom in front of everybody, and come up with a logical explanation for it, not just a random thing. They wanted us to be more be more passionate about what we were saying, and more careful about what we were saying. We couldn't just say whatever and hope everybody else agrees with it. We had to have a reason for what we were saying. And I feel like it has helped me even to now. Whenever I see something disparaging, I usually try to see the other way. I try not to react easily, easily. And challenging those ideas in the classroom has helped me to not react right away whenever I see interesting ideas thrown around in public, in politics, in whatever environment. I try to be more open-minded and approach it with a more logical mindset instead of an emotional one. Last thing I'm grateful for is that I'm grounded on biblical principles. So I usually, whenever there is a provocative statement somewhere, whenever somebody makes a provocative remark, I always try to stop and go back to my my biblical values. Most of my values are based on biblical um, principles. So I always try to go back, and I'm always like reinforcing the Bible, the church, always reinforcing, always getting myself involved in that environment. So whenever something comes up to me that shakes me, I can always go back and rest assured that things are fine, because most biblical truths are positive. The message is generally very positive. So if something is provocative, I know that in God everything is possible, and I don't have to react one way or the other as every or react with the crowd. I know that I can stay strong if my belief aligns with the Bible. I can stay strong in that, and I know that I'm gonna find my light eventually, that I don't have to always be following the crowd, because sometimes the crowd they don't know where they're going. But within my religious belief, I know where my path is at and where I'm going, and I try not to stray away from it. That's it. Thank you. Those are the 10 things I'm grateful for. And so these are things about my life. Everybody's life is different. Some people might have different opportunities. Some people, they might have a dog that they're grateful for, a pool that they're grateful for, the income they're making that they're grateful for. This is just what is things within my reach. These are things that are within my reach that I'm grateful for. Even little things not everything has to be extremely big for me to be grateful for. I every day try to think of things within my life that I'm grateful for, and I hope you can get the idea of what I'm doing, and that you get inspired to also come up with your own things that you're grateful for. Bye.